What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
Greg, what's on your face?
I'm trying to, every 10 years, I say, let's see what the beard looks like. Let's go. I haven't tried to grow a real beard since I insulted Ryan Gettys on a Game Scoop back at IGN.
Wow.
I guess 07, 08. And Jen was like the other day, she's like, I let it go because I was playing Destiny like a bum and not showering and just sitting there. She's like,
hey, I was in the same place this weekend. It's okay.
Did John tell you to let your beard grow out too? She's like, you know what? Just lean into this. Just keep going. So I'm giving it till Saturday. Because like you got to check in sometimes and see. Because it feels like, you know, shaving every day, it feels like it was coming in thicker than it was 10 years ago. But you don't know. So now we're just going to let it go and see. That's what it looks like right now. It looks better on Instagram. Not on the YouTube videos I've been seeing now.
It just looks like you have dirt on your face from a distance.
It looks like I'm doing like a cartoon hobo look. Like I need a little stick with a spindle on the end of it or whatever. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you the nerdy video game news you need to know about before giving you perspective, answering your questions, and having a good time. Remember, be part of the show at kindafunny.com/KFGD. You can watch live as we record it on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. However, you can't see us do it. We don't see your chat or any of that stuff. You have to go to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong. Tell us what we screwed up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping. Number one, party mode is up on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. It might be the funniest party mode we've ever done. You should go check it out. If not, you can catch it tomorrow on YouTube. And then also, something's been brought to my attention yesterday.
Yes.
We make a lot of content here.
That's true, you do.
Fire it out into the internet. It goes out there, it finds you, the viewer, finds you, the listener, everybody has it. Yesterday, community manager Joey Noel hit me up and was like, so what are we going to do about all the YouTube comments on Kinda Funny Games Daily? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I went there and saw a small revolution of people asking for time codes, that they wanted time codes. They want the show broken up by time codes. And you're doing it in a funny, interesting, good way, not being mean about it, which I respect a lot. Obviously, we've been doing shows for a long time. People have asked for time codes for a long time, and it's always that, it can't be that hard, can it, they ask? And it's not that it's that hard, it's just cumbersome when, as soon as we end here, I go publish information, I go do this, you run to your next job, you're going over there. Cool, Greg, and we're 7 people, right? It's a lot for us to do. However, we're going to try it for you. Today will be the first Kinda Funny Games Daily where we tried doing time codes. Andrea's doing them as co-host right now. Are you putting them into the Google Doc? Is that what the plan is?
I'm just writing them into an email draft right now.
Send that to us.
And then I'll kick it over to you.
I like where your head's at. Thanks for this.
No problem.
If Danny O'Dwyer can do it tomorrow. He's already checked out. He's just thinking about Maryland.
He's got senioritis.
For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. There's a lot of items on the Roper Report today. I didn't actually count them, but there's a ton.
I don't know what to say.
You say a baker's dozen. It's still the same thing.
No, you gotta give me a number. You can't just...
I'm not going to count it. We'll just guess 7. There's more than 7.
A baker's dozen.
There's a couple like short ones in there that are just like, just little things. You saw it. It's all over the place.
I did see it,
Not to mention the first one is a huge one. PlayStation had its TGS Conference last night. It is chock full of huge news, all sorts of things happening. Let's start at the top. I'm taking IGN's rundown of the PlayStation TGS Conference. Square's making a game called Left Alive. IGN writes it as the title, which Square Enix describes as a brand new survival action shooter set in a dark and gritty world, is being directed by Armored Core director named Shima, we'll say, and features character designs by Metal Gear character designer Yoji Shinakawa. Mech designer, another guy who worked on Metal Gear and Xenoblade Chronicles X, is also involved in the project. Does this do anything for you, Andrea?
Nothing at TGS generally does anything for me.
Yeah,
I just gotta be honest.
I like the occasional Japanese game, but I know Armored Core. We've talked about it a million times here. I understand you out there, Kinda Funny fans who like Armored Core. I'm glad for you it's happening out there. Caleb, I believe, right?
I just wait for Alexa Ray to explain everything to me.
Well, there's a lot for her to unpack as we continue to go through this. Monster Hunter World is coming worldwide on January 26, 2018 to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, PC at a later date. Eric Myers writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hey, Greg and Andrea, how well do you think Monster Hunter Worlds is going to do? As a series, it certainly has name recognition, and it's coming out in January. Seems like a smart move considering it's out of the way of the holiday rush. I'm personally interested in trying the series for the first time, and I'm curious how many other people will be in the same boat. Thanks for your time, Eric. What's your prediction? Do you have a read on the new Monster Hunter Worlds?
I mean, I don't really have a prediction per se.
Yeah.
I think it's excellent that, it's coming to console. I think that's great. That's a good step. Monster Hunter was never something I really wanted to sink a lot of time into because it's a giant RPG in a sense that you have to probably dump a good 20 hours in before you even kind of like break into the meat of the game. And that's a big commitment for a lot of people.
Sure.
So it just was never my thing. So
my prediction, I think, is going to do real well.
Oh, no, it's going to do excellent.
I think it's going to get new fans in as well. As somebody who used to review the Monster Hunter games on PSP for IGN, and this is in a time when I knew shit about Monster Hunter, but it was one of those, we reviewed everything, here's what your assignment is, all right, I went and did it, and put a lot of time into it, worked with Capcom in terms of like having like Alicia come over and play with me with her 99 bajillion hour save and showing me how to do this, that, and the other, and learning the ropes of that game and coming to understand it, coming to respect it, coming to enjoy it. I remember when it came to Wii, and it was that one that came to Wii with that controller, like its own special controller, and people there really liked it and got in. I remember like Charles Onyett and other people from IGN jumping on board in there, and I wanted to but didn't, just because I was like over my Wii already at that point. I think coming to consoles, coming to Xbox One, coming to PlayStation 4, I think is going to capture obviously the install base that already cares about Monster Hunter, which is huge. And then I think it is going to be one of those things where even though it's a huge investment, so are tons of games. So is Destiny too, right? And it's one of those, I think if you have a crew of people playing it and they're like, hey, this is awesome, jump in here, do these small level bosses with us, and then come with us to try to go for these giant dragons or whatever. I think it has a shot.
And the release date is a nice time period because it's late January, so they probably have a solid 2 to 3 weeks before we see anything in February, possibly a month or two before we get like the late March or April releases.
Yeah, whatever PlayStation's doing with God of War and all these different things.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think it's got a good, obviously, name recognition. Sure, I think it's one of those games that's finally coming to a platform everybody really is excited about. And then I think it is a good time period. PlayStation also showed a new Shadow of the Colossus trailer. Final Fantasy IX is out on PlayStation 4 now, apparently, or out tomorrow, they were saying last night, which makes it confusing. Also, I was reading over, I think it's everywhere, but it might just be Japan. You got to check on that one for me. Kindafunny.com/you're wrong, of course. Tell me what I screw up as I screw it up. But assumedly, it'd be coming out today on PSN. Zone of the Enders, the second runner remastered, is coming in spring 2018 in Japan with VR support, 4K visuals. Noctis is joining Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, and I assume Alexa died somewhere when that was announced. Dragon's Crown has been confirmed for PlayStation 4. It's coming to Japan on January 25th, 2018. Of course, this was rumored. Now we actually have a locked thing there. Japan Studio VR Music Festival is the upcoming PS VR experience, which features various Sony Japan Studio franchises, including Toro and Gravity Rush. It will be released in Japan on September 20th. Okay, what do you got from me?
According to GameSpot, Final Fantasy IX is available in the U.S. at a discount for a limited time, dropping its regular price of $21 to $16.79 until September 26th.
Okay.
That's
so this is already out? I don't understand what's the announcement then.
I'm not sure.
Because it was, it's...
well, I mean, because it's obviously a game that was released already.
Okay.
So it says...
Go to...
I don't know what the news is.
Go to IGN.com and tell me what's going on with this Final Fantasy IX for PlayStation 4. Out now. Why is that news if it's already been out? And I'm not yelling at you.
It's a re-release.
Okay. Continue on. You know you're doing.
Okay.
Neko Asumo, the cat collecting sim, is coming to PlayStation VR in 2018. You might remember this game because the Dark Knight of News, Andrew Goldfarb over at IGN.com, was obsessed with it for a while. I reached out to comment from Andrew Goldfarb, the biggest fan I know of Neko Atsume. I said, is this a big deal? What do you care about it coming to PlayStation VR? He says, it means I get to look around and be surrounded by a bunch of amazing cartoon cats. And once I go in, I'm never leaving and you can't stop me. Then he follows up. I think it's cool seeing weird, unique stuff like this coming to PlayStation VR, and it gives me hope that Sony still has interest in small, weird games.
So according to Andrew Goldfarb, It will include trophy support, share button functionality, and remote play via the PlayStation Vita. It also includes HD versions of cutscenes and characters and autosave functionality. It has also added 7 booster features, including high-speed mode, the ability to turn off random enemy encounters, and the Master All Abilities booster, which will allow players to automatically master equipped weapons and gear, and players will be able to max out character levels, magic stone counts, and gil using boosters.
Okay, so this is different than the version that has been out before.
Correct.
Gotcha. So this is the re-release, remaster, whatever, but not remaster.
Just a re-release.
Just a re-release with cool
with a little
bonuses.
seasoning on top.
Oh, you did this thing, like the guy from the internet and then from Destiny.
I want that emote so bad.
Keep fucking putting money in. And then Earth Defense Force Iron Rain is in development in Japan. It's coming in 2018. This is back to IGN's verbiage. Publisher D3 is calling Iron Rain new territory for the franchise as it looks to move away from its traditional style. This can be seen in the trailer as our narrator delivers despondent lines, including "War is all we know," a far cry from the playful premise of a giant bug invasion. The other major difference, it looks a lot nicer than the mainline EDF games, even the upcoming Earth Defense Force 5, which has been shown was shown off at the same conference. It still has you fighting bugs though, so don't worry. So here's the thing, Andrew.
Yes.
As predicted yesterday on the show, a lot of announcements here really affecting the Japanese market, and then obviously Western gamers who care about Japanese titles.
Right.
What I think the takeaway from this, outside of people being excited about this Final Fantasy, which I know a lot of you wrote in about, either mad that you have to rebuy it again or excited that you get to play it again, outside of Left Alive having this really cool group that is pulling from all sorts of people, Metal Gear and Xenoblades and everything else, is the fact that I'm with Goldfarb here, that it's interesting to see VR keep popping back up and popping up with franchises that matter, right? Zone of the Enders is getting one. That's super interesting. This Japan studio thing is interesting, even though I don't know exactly what this musical festival is going to look like or how it's going to play, but the fact that it is first-party PlayStation making something for VR, as we've been worried about what is going on with VR. And we talked, with PlayStation at the GameStop Expo, about, are you still committed to PlayStation VR? Is this still a thing? And then being like, no, we are, and here's why, and showcasing stuff that's coming along, and you're looking at the Supermassive game and all that jazz and what they have announced. It's interesting now to still see new announcements about PlayStation VR, no?
I mean, interesting, sure, but clearly it's a piece of hardware they plan on supporting for quite some time, so we're going to continue to get announcements. And, Paris Games Week is coming up. Hopefully we'll get some new game announcements there, some updates on some stuff that they've already announced, and then, of course, PSX.
Sure. I just think it's been doom and gloom for a while.
What do you mean doom and gloom?
That PlayStation specific hasn't been talking about VR in the way of like, hey, here's a cool franchise, here's Zone of the Enders that's actually doing something with VR, rather than it just be, here's a VR game that's coming out this week that we're not promoting too much. And that, granted, there's Farpoint and there's other things they've come out and done, but it's nice to hear new announcements. It's nice to see it on a press conference stage, which again, I think in the Western audience is way more geared for PSX than it is for E3. But still, I think after Vita and after Move, like, you're right to be gun shy. And I think as much as we've talked to PlayStation spokespeople who've said, no, we're still involved and here's why, it's always nice to see more proof when we're not even asking for it.
I can't disagree with that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 2 on this Roper report of how many I don't know. Phil Spencer is now on Microsoft's senior leadership team. This is via ZDNet. Microsoft is adding another of its executives to its senior leadership team of top internal advisors, in a move that indicates gaming is increasingly important to the future of the company. Microsoft's CEO is informing employees today, September 19th, that Phil Spencer, who is now Executive Vice President of Gaming at Microsoft, to the SLT. Let's back to the senior leadership team. Microsoft's SLT now has 16 members, including that CEO. During his time at Microsoft, Spencer has been the head of Xbox, Microsoft Studios, and Game Studios before being named Executive Vice President today. Spencer is in charge of leading Microsoft's gaming business across all devices and services. The gaming organization is still part of Microsoft Windows and Devices unit. Microsoft has been looking to gaming as one of its main ways to help monetize Windows. Some of the company's new initiatives, like HoloLens and mixed reality, as well as 3D for everyone focused on the Windows team, are linked tightly to what Microsoft is doing in gaming. What do you think of this?
Congratulations.
Yeah, of course.
I think Phil Spencer is a wonderful person.
Yeah.
I've known him for several years now, and I've had the honor to interview him on multiple occasions, and he's just always so excellent. And what's great about Phil Spencer being at the top of a leadership org like Xbox is that he actually plays video games. There's a lot of execs that don't. And it's so nice that he's so connected to the video games community and he's thinking about what gamers want and what they want from Xbox and how he can translate what Microsoft as a global business needs and how he can kind of parry that as best as he can as the guy who's leading that team to make it align with what gamers also want from that brand. Because it's tough. A lot of companies don't necessarily have that perspective.
Sure.
And so I think this is nothing but good news.
Here's my one question, Andrea. Final paragraph that I put in here because the article goes on with more BS stuff that doesn't matter. ZDNet says, Microsoft has been looking to gaming as one of its main ways to help monetize Windows. Some of the company's new initiatives like HoloLens and mixed reality, as well as 3D for everyone, focus on the Windows team and are linked tightly to what Microsoft is doing in gaming. Concerning it all, there's no mention of Xbox there, that they're talking about bringing gaming in and monetizing Windows and talking about how they're doing this, and then the new technology is not mentioning Xbox One X. Granted, this is all a writer writing this through their lens for ZDNet, which is obviously a wider reach than GameSpot or IGN. And I should say wider perspective, I guess, in terms of who's coming to read those articles.
It's more tech focused, right, than gaming focused. So I'm not surprised at the language that you see in that article. Why don't we take a look at some other articles and see how other people are mentioning it? Did Phil give a specific statement?
Not that I've seen. But I piggybacked off the ZDNet thing.
Let's go to Twitter and see what he said.
Everybody, we're going to Twitter. Strap in. Keep your arms down. Don't put on your seatbelts. Items may shift during your move to Twitter here on Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember,
he's
be part of the show.
talking about playing Destiny.
Of course he is, because he's a normal person, not like Nick Scarpino, who has no taste and is stupid.
He hasn't. Well, I mean, probably in true fashion, he hasn't responded because it would probably seem a little arrogant to be like, hey everybody,
look at this new thing I got a promotion, I'm over here doing this cool thing, everything thinks I'm great. I'm just putting it out there, that's all. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or take a shot at all. I don't find it alarming.
I think you're being an alarmist right now.
I think everything's fine. I'm just saying.
I don't think Microsoft would invest millions of dollars in a new piece of tech and then just push it aside. Wait, who am I kidding? Of course they would. Microsoft has so much money.
Do you find it weird the gaming organization is still part of Microsoft's Windows and Devices unit? That Xbox hasn't spun out into its own unit?
I think it is.
Are you telling me ZDNet is lying in this article?
No, I'm not saying they're lying. I don't know when that happened because I'm fairly confident that Xbox is its own unit.
It should be.
Well, why don't I tweet to him and see if he'll respond?
Sure, okay. And of course, kindoffunny.com/you're wrong if you know something else. Maybe Phil can go there, register on the forums, answer all this for me. While you do that, the next item on the Rope Reports is literally one sentence. Square is hiring scenario staff for a near-related project. This is via Twitter, found it on Gaff. Somebody had translated it. That's all we know. There you go. I know a lot of you are near fans, though. Scenarios are happening, maybe, kind of, sort of, years from now. Who knows? Next one's super simple, too, and not great for you audio listeners. Or I guess even if you're watching this show. Insomniac has a new logo. Thought that was interesting.
They sent a cake. It was delicious.
I am hopped up on sugar. I was quite a handful on the morning show before this. What do you think of it?
The cake or the logo?
The logo. Do you have anything to say?
It looks fine.
That's the thing. It's like I like it. My thing about it, if you don't have it in front of you, I mean, obviously you could Google this real quick. You remember the old Insomniac logo with the moon and the O? This one is more locked in, bold text, and then the O now is like two semicircles that are blue, and harkening back to the moon, but moving on forward. Insomniac put up a whole blog post about it, and I went and I'm like, oh man, there'll be stuff in here, and it gets into that whole like graphic design, this, that. I'm like, all right, this is too heady in terms of the space. I just was wondering why you changed it. And basically, they're not the same company they were when they made the real logo. I'm putting in quotes in 2002. That's when they started this other one. There was a minor revamp in 2003, but time to move on. Get ready for that Spider-Man. Spider-Man, Andrea.
I'm so excited.
I want to follow up on something we talked about before. I'm going to Kotaku for this one. Toys R Us has officially filed for Chapter 11. Kotaku breaks it down now. Faced with $5 billion in long-term investment debt and fierce competition from a rapidly changing retail marketplace, toy and children's goods retailer Toys R Us has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Don't start mourning or sharing childhood memories just yet. It's not the shutting down sort of bankruptcy. As it turns out, Toys R Us's operating revenue hasn't been enough to make a major dent in their debt. Between competition with physical retailers like Walmart and Target and the rise of Amazon as a dominant online retail force, operating revenue hasn't been great. Not only has Toys R Us been unable to handle the debt, the retailer hasn't been able to commit any money to efforts that might make them more competitive. They need money to be competitive, but they aren't competitive enough to make money. That's where Chapter 11 bankruptcy comes into play. Unlike Chapter 7, which involves a company liquidating its assets and dissolving, Chapter 11 bankruptcy is a restructuring aimed at giving a company in debt more flexible means with which to address what they owe and resolve the situation. For example, Toys R Us has already secured a commitment of over $3 billion in financing from various lenders and investors to help things keep running while Chapter 11 process takes place. If all goes well, Toys R Us could emerge from Chapter 11 protection in much better shape to take on competing retailers online and offline. There's still a chance it could all go south, but the company remains hopeful that it will work out. CEO Dave Brandon certainly seems optimistic in the official announcement, saying, quote, "Today marks the dawn of a new era at Toys R Us, where we expect that the financial constraints that have held us back will be addressed in a lasting and effective way." All right. We reported on the rumor this might happen.
Right.
Now it's happened. Is Toys R Us going to pull out of this? They going to pull through?
I think if they can be absorbed by a larger retailer and remain an independent brand, that would allow them to stay, and not go the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, online shopping has hit a lot of brick and mortar retailers extremely hard.
Yeah.
And if they can't keep up with their digital infrastructure and really serve the desire for people to buy things online, then they're just going to fall away. I mean, this is why we're seeing even massive retailers like Walmart buying companies like Jet to try to infuse their online shopping experience to compete with Amazon. I mean, really, it's like everyone's trying to compete with Amazon. It's a tough market.
Taking over the world, right? I think this delays it, obviously, but I don't think there's a future forever for Toys R Us. It seems so. The reason Walmart can be Walmart and continue on is that they do so much. They're so diverse, right? And I think that's actually, in the same breath, what hurts Toys R Us is the fact that you're at Walmart, there's a toy department there. You could get the toys you're looking for there. Granted, not as much of a selection, but then you could go to Amazon, you could go to Walmart.com. I don't know how many people are still going.
There's something so magical about walking through a toy store.
Don't stop. I love Toys R Us. I loved Toys R Us. I haven't gone in one outside of a random place in a long time.
Why not?
What the hell am I going there for?
To buy video games?
I get that off Amazon. I'm fine.
Oh my gosh.
I want it all digital anyway, Andrea. You know what I mean?
No. See, I like my discs in the boxes. I can put it on the shelf.
Still, okay.
Yeah.
What's your balance right now, you think? Is it all... You still try to buy everything digital, or I'm sorry. Physical?
Yeah, I'm probably maybe somewhere between 80-20 and 70-30 physical versus digital.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So still predominantly physical. I'm still getting used to the idea that I have, 2 terabytes of space on my new hard drive to like fill up with games.
Yeah.
But games are just, I like keeping them. I like being able to pop them in and play them whenever I want. And
just re-download them whenever you want.
No, it takes too long.
Get all that garbage and trash out of your house. You don't need all these plastic cases and stuff.
Video games are not trash, Greg Miller.
This is the future. No, the games aren't. The goddamn boxes and plastic everywhere are. These fucking goddamn collector's editions with terrible statues. I don't mind if you have a good statue. But when I get excited and I get it and it's just this flimsy plastic statue, I'm like, ooh, you fucked me good on this one.
Do you have someone specific you would like to call out?
DC Universe Online's Batman statue sucked.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right there. I said it. Cool Greg was telling you, don't say it. I said it. It had to be said. Cool Greg understands. That Uncharted one, that's a good one.
I have one of those.
Yeah. I'm sure.
No, I have one unopened in the box.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to find a way to get rid of it.
Give it away on What's Good Games.
Maybe I will.
There you go. I think, again, I didn't number these because I'm stupid. Yeah, final item on the Roper Report. Destiny 2 is flipping around the raid stuff. This is via GameSpot. Stick with me, strap in. Each weekly reset in Destiny 2 presents you with a slate of new things to do for the week, including another batch of rewards in the Leviathan raid. In a move that should help to keep it feeling fresh from week to week, the reset also apparently shifts aspects of the raid around. The second weekly reset occurred earlier today and introduced this week's Nightfall, Flashpoint, and so on. But This was the first one since the launch of the Leviathan raid, and we didn't know exactly what to expect. As previously announced, any raid keys you were hanging on to have been removed from your inventory, so you'll need to reacquire those each week when attempting the raid. But more notable is the order of the major encounters throughout the raid. Callus remains the final boss, and that will presumably always be the case. But the 3 trials that precede the fight are apparently not locked into any specific setup, according to users on Reddit. Whereas the raid's first week had you tackle Royal Pools, Pleasure Gardens, and the Gauntlet in that order, this week presents you with Pleasure Gardens, then the Gauntlet, and then finally the Royal Pools before dealing with Callus. The specific strategies for dealing with all these remain unchanged, and you can consult them in the GameSpot Destiny Raid Guide. But this adjustment of the order has benefits for seemingly everyone. The hardcore crowd that plans to regularly run the raid gets a significantly different experience from week to week, and more casual players who can't necessarily make it through the entire raid yet will have an opportunity to figure out how to tackle the Pleasure Gardens this week. Last week, they could only do so if they managed to complete the Royal Pools first. Andrea.
Yes.
We've put in a lot of time to the raid. You've put in more than me, even.
Cry about it.
There's going to be a question about our raid experience.
I'm so defeated.
How do you feel right now, though, with this moving around stuff? Because you are one of the hardcore Destiny people. This is my first raid. I'm enjoying it. I don't really care that they're moving things around. Do you?
No, actually, I think it's a good thing that they're moving it around because as somebody on my Twitter feed accurately pointed out, if you never get to the final instance, like if you never actually made it to the Gauntlet, then you would have to constantly be explaining to new people how to do it. But now that it's rotating, maybe you'll get the Gauntlet first, and then you can explain
get all the pieces.
Right, exactly. I kind of like it, and it kind of makes it a nice little change of pace for people who run the raid multiple times.
Sure. Are you going to be running the raid every week?
Every week? Oh, no. It's way too much work to run it every single week, and trying to organize is not good. But I definitely, obviously, need to get the trophy. Yeah. And then once I'm ready to run it on Prestige, I'll try that eventually down the line. But I'm definitely going to go for the Prestige Nightfall for that trophy instead of...
Oh, yeah. No. The Prestige and the raid.
No, I mean, like, I'm going to try it eventually because once I'm, like, super powered, but... Yeah. Generally, what I'll do is I'll wait till the expansion comes out, and then they raise the level cap, and then you get, like, you know, stronger, and then you can go back and do the Prestige, and you're like,
smart
this is
call.
no problem.
Real good call.
I mean, obviously, it still takes coordination, but the ads aren't overwhelming you like they are right now.
What is your power level right now?
289, I think.
Okay. We're jumping in to Snuggle Grumps. Snuggle Grumps wrote in yesterday to kindafunny.com/KFGD. Had his question make the sheet, but I wanted to hold it for Andrea. He says, or she, how was your raid experience? My group and I finished the raid last night. I say finished because we wiped as the boss died. We all sat there as our ghost balls watching the boss die. We couldn't respawn and kind of broke the game. We also ran into some other problems. I somehow lost my chest keys and we ran into some other problems. None of us got the achievement and only a few of us got the milestone completed saying we finished it. I really just want to hear your experiences. Did you finish it? Have any problems like we did? Thank you for everything and keep up the good work.
There are definitely bugs in the raid that need to be fixed, without a doubt. Particularly little glitches and problems when you're in the mind's eye in the boss fight. So
that's where we're up there in where I'm calling
in
out.
like the Shadow Realm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's that's super frustrating because that part in particular requires such precision in order to make it through to actually get to the DPS phase of the boss fight.
Real quick, time out. How many hours have you played this raid?
20 hours. And in that time, we probably rotated through at least a dozen different Guardians because what happens is you play in one session, some joker's like, oh, sorry, gotta go. I'm like, no, man, when you commit to the raid, you commit to the raid. Yeah. And I understand that when you're playing it for the first time, it takes longer than normal because you got to figure it out.
Sure.
And so we did a 5-hour session, and then for my first stream.
I was a part of that for the first part, yeah.
And then I did 3 hours on Saturday, and then you joined us, and then we did like another 6 hour.
And that was ridiculous. And like, here's the thing: is we did the 6 hours, and that's when we got to the boss, right? And
Yeah.
we were just getting our heads kicked in and everything else.
Right. We spent 90 minutes just trying to figure out how to get through the mind's eye.
It's so hard. I know, like, Nick makes fun of us when we talk about this shit, right? But it's so hard. And even me on the outside, before we were doing the raid or whatever, where people would be like, oh, we spent, you know, 9. Alfredo would be like in Destiny 1, I spent 9 hours trying to figure out this raid. I'm like, you're crazy. You're an insane person. Playing that raid with you on Saturday night, where it was literally like, all right, Jen's leaving and I'm going to get dinner with her later or whatever. And she left at 6:30 or whatever. And then it was like, we stopped playing at 12 or 12:30.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I was like, we were doing it, we're talking, we're communicating. I looked up at the clock and I was like, holy shit, we've been playing for 3 hours. And I was like, I should say that. But then we were like in the middle of it. I'm like, I'll say it in a bit. I'll remind them. Because it was just like going sand through your hands. And we went back and I looked up and it was, holy shit, we've been playing for 4 hours. I haven't had a video game experience like that in a long time, where it's literally just a time warp. Where it happened that day I took off where I blew out my eye, where it was the same thing of every time I looked up 4 hours ago, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? How is this possible? And not only that, to get our heads kicked in, to make so little progress, to not even, I'm so anxious to get my Guardian to 280, right? And but I put in so much time on this raid where we didn't get that much gear and this didn't really happen, that didn't happen, but I still was like, this is so much fun. Like, it's so much fun, and it is. Andy and I make fun of the E3 demos all the time when somebody's playing a multiplayer game. We're like, all right, you go over there. All right, I'm reloading. I got eyes on them. Blah, blah. Like, you know how they talk like that on stage? And everyone's like, no, he talks like that. That's how we're talking in this raid.
Because you have to, right? Like,
it's so fucking fun.
That's what's great about raids. And like, even though I woke up this morning and I tweeted that I'm a little salty about everyone who's like, oh, we completed it, we finished it. Because there was even some members of the What's Good Guardians clan who we raided with on Thursday that went and completed it with other groups that came back and were trying to help us get through. And the problem is even if you watch my stream from Twitch from yesterday when I was doing this boss fight for 5 fucking hours.
Oh my God, it was all just callous for 5 hours?
Well, what happened was even though we got our section in the mind's eye, the 3 of us who were there, like down to a science, it didn't matter because all it takes is one tiny mistake from somebody on the other side in order to kind of like wipe the whole team. And that's what's frustrating about where we're at right now.
So another time out to explain this to somebody who's not playing Destiny but listening or watching this show, right, is that you go into this boss's throne room, all these ads come out, you kill them, and then he snaps and sends you into the Shadow Realm. Yeah. And then you have to send half your team back down, half the team stays up, and then they need to communicate about what they're seeing in the Shadow Realm so that you can, process of elimination, figure out who you need to attack down there.
It's similar in essence to the mechanic in Vault of Glass with the Atheon boss fight with warping through the portals. But this is much more complicated because at least with that, I felt like you could make a mistake, you could have a Guardian go down, and it wasn't the end of the world. It's
over.
Yeah. And now it's like if you have a Guardian go down, you have 30 seconds to, or even less maybe, no, it's 30, to revive them, and then if you don't revive them, you're dead. Like the whole thing wipes, and you start the boss fight over again, and that's incredibly frustrating, especially when you only have one revive available, which is like, okay, so normally mechanics like that in D1 were reserved for the prestige level or the hard mode of the raid, which would make sense. Like, make it harder. It's already hard enough with all of the enemies that you're fighting and the mechanics. It's a little frustrating, and like the bugs on top of that are kind of like a okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But who am I kidding? I'm gonna try it again this weekend.
That's the thing, is like, all I want to do is just sit there and get at my power level and come back to this, because that was the thing. Even though when we were signing off Saturday, we're like, all right, we'll try it again. And I'm like, I'm not trying this again until I'm like 285. I want to get in there and hit. And
some guy was trying to like mansplain me today on Twitter about like, did you use this gun? You know, you're supposed to use this gun. You're supposed to do this. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Just couldn't execute as a team. But that's a testament to the level design that Bungie has created. So like, let's get back to why we were able to stick in there for so long.
Or we always felt like we almost had it.
Yeah, because they made it engaging. They made the puzzles just hard enough. They made the exploration in the underbelly of the Leviathan really interesting and kind of like a fun trick to solve with your fire team. The music is great. The art direction is great. It's a really well done raid. There's just a couple problems that I think that they should tweak to make it, not so impossible. At least on the regular level. If you want to like amp up the difficulty for hard mode or prestige, absolutely, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
But I never ran into this problem with any of the raids in original Destiny. So,
God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's a Destiny palette cleanser for you. Tim writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, and says, Hey, not really a question, but a comment. So I've been a best friend since you guys left IGN. I'm an introvert, so I have never really been involved with the community. I just want to thank you for opening up the Destiny 2 clan. He's talking about the kind of funny one Andy and I started. Without the carrot of possibly being able to play with you, I doubt I would have joined a clan. Now I'm a way more engaged part of this community and Destiny as a whole. I'm constantly checking the clan chat and already have a bunch of more friends on PSN. I did the Nightfall with some best friends, and I also got a chance to run through the Crucible with you, Greg, on Sunday, and that was awesome. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to connect with other best friends. Tim, PSN, DuPont, TC24. Thank you, Tim. That was fun playing with you. And everybody, remember, that's what it's all about, being best friends. Don't be shy. Go hang out with each other. Hit up the forums. Hit up the Reddit. Hit up the Facebook group. If you understand Discord, hit that up. I'm too old for Discord. I can't figure it out. I don't know.
I'll
I go
show
in there,
you.
there's a million rooms. I just cry. I don't know what's going on. Andrea,
Yes.
we're playing Destiny. We will be for quite some time.
Yes.
But if I wanted to know what came to the mom and grop shops, digital and shops, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. It's Tuesday. There's a lot. Strap in. 36 Fragments of Midnight comes to Vita. At Omega comes to Windows PC. Blackguards 2 comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Burly Men at Sea comes to PlayStation 4 and Vita. N-Space comes to PlayStation VR. Factum 90 comes to PlayStation 4 and Vita. Hidden Dragon Legend comes to PlayStation 4. Ink comes to PlayStation 4. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. Mary Skelter Nightmares comes to Vita. Mecho Tales comes to Vita. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 Season Pass Disc comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 Episode 3 comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Morphite comes to PlayStation 4 and Windows PC. NBA 2K18 comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Windows PC, and Switch. I guess there was that early edition legendary thing that came out on Friday when we were talking. Pan-Ka-Poo comes to PlayStation 4. Robonauts comes to PlayStation 4. Shopkeeps comes to PlayStation 4. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus comes to PlayStation 4. The Coma Recut comes to PlayStation 4. There is a Forza Motorsport 7 demo. And I think a first for this show, Significant Zero, Walt Williams' book, a book making it to the new release, comes out about his trials and tribulations in game development, which you might have heard of on the Kinda Funny Games cast, which is live right now on podcast services and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Matthew writes in and says, greetings, Greg and Andrea. I would like to start by saying a massive thank you to the Irish Cream, Danny O'Dwyer, for being a wonderful co-host the past few months. You've been a delight to listen to. Anyway, on to my point. I have just finished listening to last week's Gamescast and found Walt's views really interesting and witty. So much so that I'm going to order his book, Significant Zero, when I get home tonight. My question for you two are, can you recommend other books about game development that will provide an insight into the industry without taking itself too serious? And would either of you ever consider writing a book about your time in the industry? Lots of love, Matthew, on the Isle of Man, parentheses, a small island between England and Ireland. Very interesting. I always jump to Console Wars by Blake Harris. That was a one that he had hit me up when when it was about to get published. Sent me prints for IGN. We passed those around. It's about Sega trying to come back and fight Nintendo and take them down, and that's a really great book. Andrew?
I don't read nonfiction.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Just straight up, I read fantasy lit, and that is it.
Fuck yeah, go for it.
So I can't recommend any specific books.
I know
but,
people love Masters of Doom. That was always one that people were really big on.
Mm-hmm. And I know that Mike Futter just wrote a book about game development.
Oh, did he know?
Something about crunch. Let me look it up.
You do it. Jason Schreier's book's coming out too, right? Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, which is like the behind the scenes on contemporary games. Talks about Uncharted 4 in there. I think Destiny's in there as well, in terms of like the unheard stories there.
It's called the Game Dev Biz Handbook.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Faithful companion and how-to guide for growing your studio, featuring interviews with dozens of experienced developers.
Nice. New date time. There's a new level. for 2. Oh, I expect you to die. I was like 2. I put 2 eyes in there, which make it look like 2. There's a new level coming for I expect you to die on October 24th. Ghost Recon Wildlands. The Ghost War beta will be available on all platforms from September 21st through the 25th, with preload beginning September 19th. This is the new 4v4 PvP mode. Dynasty Warriors 9 will be launching in early 2018 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And Shadow the Hedgehog will feature in Sonic Forces as free launch day DLC. Meanwhile, deals of the day for you. This one I took from GameSpot, who took it from Wario64. If you've been wanting a PlayStation VR, but the price has kept you from buying, Amazon has a deal for you. For a limited time, you can get nearly 100% off the price of a PSVR plus camera bundle with a special discount code. The regular cost of buying the bundle at Amazon is $398, but if you type in the code PSVRSAVE, all one word, you can get it for just $300. The code was tweeted by Wario64, which, by the way, I would then recommend you to go to twitter.com/Wario64 and click through his link, because it's probably an affiliate link.
He gets
which
affiliate
means
links,
he would get money for that.
And
way.
Wario64 is incredible. If you're not following,
you should follow him for video game deals as well,
If you're not following him,
yeah.
you absolutely should.
Yeah, of course.
He's great.
Let's jump into reader mail, Andrea.
Let's do it.
But first, I'll tell you it's brought to you by DraftKings. Football season has begun, but it's not too late to get closer to the game you love with DraftKings 1 Week Fantasy Football. This Sunday, DraftKings is hosting a $100,000 Pick'em contest that is totally free to enter. Pick'em is the newest way to play 1 week fantasy football. Drafting your team is faster than ever, too. DraftKings has organized players into 8 tiers. All you have to do is select one player from each tier. Choose between public contests with big cash prizes or private contests where you can compete against a group of your friends. DraftKings also has beginner and casual contests where you play against people of a similar skill level. The best part is, you get to draft a new team each and every week without any commitment. Get to DraftKings.com now and use the promo code KINDAFUNNY, all one word, to play in DraftKings free contest for $100,000 in total prizes this Sunday. That's promo code KINDAFUNNY to compete for your share of $100,000 in total prizes. The contest is totally free to enter. Why wouldn't you try it? Shoo? DraftKings, the game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Where do I want to start with you, Andrea Renee? Because I got some fucking things to say to you.
Okay.
Nah, I'm fucking around. We got good questions, though, as always. Let's do 2 Destiny ones right off the bat.
All right.
Matt A. Plays writes in and says, yesterday, Kotaku published an article about playing Destiny 2 as a parent. Many people took to Twitter to voice their grievances with the author about the article and the headline, which was perceived as misleading. My question is, does this make it a successful article? I only clicked to read it once I saw so many people tweeting about it. Is this interaction intentional, and is it fair to the author? Presumably, a copywriter and an editor also worked on this, but the author received the brunt of the public backlash. Did you see this?
I saw the headline.
Yeah, it was like Destiny 2 is impossible to play as a parent, I think, something to that effect.
Yes.
I'll get it up. What did you think? Did you read the article?
I didn't, because I'm not a parent, so
Sure.
it didn't really apply to me.
Yeah.
But I play with lots of parents in my clan, so I'm not quite sure why they think it's impossible to play. I certainly think it's challenging to do anything in life if you have kids, based off, my experience talking to my sister about her life with her son and other friends of mine that have kids, and how they really have to, rearrange their life around their kids' schedule, which, is part of being a parent. I think the word impossible is unreasonable.
Yeah. So to bring you all up to speed, it's from Kotaku UK. The title is Destiny 2 is practically impossible to play if you're a parent.
Okay, so practically impossible.
And it's written by Keza McDonald, friend of the show. She's been on the Gamescast before. Obviously, we worked with IGN. And it's her going through the fact that she's a new parent, and it's her and her partner going through talking about this.
Wait, so there's a difference also between having a newborn or an infant and having children that are, can walk around and feed themselves, right?
The article starts, I had a baby 9 months ago. As you might expect, this has significantly changed my relationship with video games, at least temporarily. It has made the Nintendo Switch my favorite console of all time because I can play it both in the big screen and the occasional evening, and in my hands, blah, 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 going through. Most of all, it has erased my ability to join in with things like Destiny. Time-limited communal gaming experiences that rely on having several hours of uninterrupted game time at specific moments of the day. And we go on to talk this way.
Really, that's only for raids. I don't know why you would need to be on a specific time unless you only want to play with specific people, in which case I would say you're missing out on the Destiny experience. I've met so many new players playing Destiny 2 with people I've never played with before.
Sure. I was surprised there was such a hullabaloo about this. that it was getting tweeted around. And I saw other parents I follow tweeting me like, I don't agree with this. I'm playing Destiny 2 and I have a kid and blah, blah, blah. I do think it's in the first 9 months of this child's life, which make it a little bit more cumbersome to get around and get into something. And I remember when Roper had his baby.
Yeah,
he couldn't play certain games, but he was playing Puzzle Quest a lot because he could play it with one hand.
Yeah, I feel like it's just such a small set of circumstances that she's filtering her experience through.
Sure.
It's just a clickbaity headline. You know, like I think it's fine to talk about your experience being a parent and how it affects your gaming habits. But to say something like practically impossible, it's practically impossible because you only want to experience the game in a very specific way.
Yeah.
Because there's many options to play Destiny with matchmaking and with other people.
First off, I love your nails. I just noticed them.
Thank you.
The purple and the gold. Very nice. What up, Vikings? My response, though, is, or question, I guess. Personally, I read the headline and like I didn't jump to clickbait. But I read it as seeing it come up. I'm like, oh, this is an opinion piece. Jump in. Sure enough, it's a very personal. This is what I'm going through. It's not a review. It's not her demonizing or selling Destiny. It needs to change for her whims. All right. Even in the end of her thing, she's like, you know, it's just not a game for me right now, kind of thing, and based on what she's going through. Would the reaction been different? You think if it said like opinion : Destiny 2 is practical, like if that was out there in front, are people just getting mad without actually reading the content?
No, I think people understand that it's an opinion. I mean, because clearly, many people disagree with the headline.
Yeah.
I just think what's frustrating for me as a longtime Destiny player of hearing somebody say that, especially playing with so many parents, is that I don't want her to turn other parents off of trying this game because her specific situation is just that. It's very specific.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, so if you're a parent out there and you're worried about trying Destiny, you don't need to be on a specific time of the day.
Yeah, unless you want to do these raids like we're talking about.
Unless you're trying to coordinate a raid with a group of people. But once Guided Games begins and is out of beta and is up and running, you'll be able to hopefully raid at almost any time of the day if you can, you know, find a group that's willing to sherpa you through.
Yeah.
And everything else you can matchmake. You can do almost all of Destiny alone if you want to. So
don't do that though. Play with people.
I mean, obviously it's more fun when you play with people, but meet people. Join a clan.
Yeah.
Join the Kind of Funny clan. Join the new, we have a second What's Good Guardians clan.
Yeah, there's dozens now of Kind of Funny clans, which is the way it should be since there's only a 100-person limit, which sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I get from a infrastructure standpoint. They got to put a number somewhere.
I'm the guy paying somebody to come in and delete my PSN friends, so I can't be sitting here like being like, "Wow, it should be everybody." It just breaks everything. And then
wait, are you really paying someone to do that?
Yeah, there's. You didn't hear about this?
No.
Oh, Greg Miller. Kind of funny is we're locked. We can't fit any more people in this office full time. You know what I mean? Like we've done it. Yeah. We've hired our people. Greg Miller Industries is looking for one qualified candidate to come in for a crisp $50 bill, a free lunch with Greg. And I'm going to give them a game, right? Yeah, and then they can add themselves to the PSN list. But then I'm going to have them sit there and just delete all my friends. Except for like...
Please don't delete me.
See, this is the thing. I said that one of the qualifications, obviously, you have to be in San Francisco because we're not going to fly you here.
Yeah.
The other qualification is you have to like know the industry, right? Where it's like... Because like, again, no offense to Cool Greg. Big Kev Dog was like, you can just have Cool Greg do that. I'm like... I don't think Cool Greg is on the ball enough in terms of like if he sees Jeff Gerstmann, don't delete Jeff Gerstmann. You know what I mean? Whereas like somebody who consumes all the content. Am I right? That's fair, Cool Greg? All right, just making sure. Thank you. That's why we need it. And don't send any. There was a whole thing on the morning show. Send in application videos. I've gotten too many. I'm sorting through them as we speak.
Okay.
Except for the fact that right now I'm doing the show, but you understand what I'm saying. I was gonna do this one. I feel like we're running out of time. You got to go, right? Yeah, you got 15 minutes left here.
Yeah.
Platinuming Destiny 2 comes from Hudas, who says, Greg, looks like your path to platinuming Destiny 2 is well on its way. Do you think you will continue to play Destiny after you have achieved the platinum? There are so many games to play and trophies to earn. I find it hard to justify continuing to play a game I've earned all the trophies in. Just curious your thoughts since you have been enjoying the game so much. P.S. Destiny 1's first DLC did not include additional trophies. It wasn't until the Taken King 1 year later that more trophies were added. Thanks, Hudas. I don't know. My plan right now is, platinum Destiny 2, which is going to take time. I'm about to knock out my Titan subclasses, though. I got that shard already done, so I'll have that one done. Then I'll have to move over to the other one. Who's the other guy?
Warlock.
I don't know. These guys look like Gettys. I keep hearing, fine, whatever. I'll go in there and do that. Yeah, it's a great trophy list, and I've put in most of the work that I'm right there on most of them. Eventually, we'll get this raid one. I've unlocked Trials of the 9. I'll be trash at it. I'll have to hit up, hey, who's fucking awesome
Come
in
roll
multiplayer.
with me and Simons. We'll take you.
We just got to win one. We just got to win one. You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you.
Okay, cool. My plan though would be that right now, which is hard to say because you're in the middle of it. Once I platinum Destiny, like right now, I'm not playing Destiny 2 and having a great time because I'm worried about the platinum. The platinum is something I'm like, oh yeah, I should do some work on that. Like Jen wanted to start her character this week, and I was like, oh cool, I'll start a new Titan, or I'll start a Titan to go through and get that out of the way. I'm not sitting there like thinking about all the trophies because the trophies are going to come naturally as you play the game. My hope would be that once it's platinumed and I'm great at the raid and I know all that stuff, that I'll keep coming back when there's like, oh, I need to get my stats up to this, or I need to do that, because there is a cap, right, on how much power you can get.
Yes, but we don't know the cap yet, I don't think.
Like these people who are rolling another character to then go get weapons to then transfer them back to themselves and then infuse them, like that ain't gonna be me. That's where I'm gonna draw the line. You know what I mean? Like I want my power level to be great.
You say that now.
We'll see, but I think I'll keep playing it. I'm excited for December's content drop. I want to keep playing with you. I'm having a great time with the clan. Like I'm using the clan chat too, which is weird to be out there with Portillo and like ask questions there, because it's like so much nicer. No offense to the Destiny subreddit, but there was some question I had where I went and posted it and didn't get a response, but I put it in the clan chat, immediately response. I'm like, oh, okay, great. My top level, I just need this quick answer. Here it is. And then it was like, hey, everybody, I'm going to just run Crucible for a while and try to grind out this trophy and get some XP. Anybody want to join me? I'm opening it up for friends and people joined on me. And it was like, this is fucking rad, right? And like when I do need to run it, when you're not available and you don't want to play and I want to run a raid and I got Andy or something, like I hope to stick around. I think I will, but we'll see. Figure, you know, for DC Universe Online, I platinumed and kept playing for a while. Granted, years and years and years. Am I going to keep playing, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's fun. I'm addicted.
Exactly.
And that's the thing of like, I came home yesterday and she had been playing more with her character. And I saw she was level 20. I'm like, oh, awesome. And then she was like, oh, but I waited. I saved the story stuff to do with you. I'm your second character.
No.
And I was like, babe, no, do the story. Do not. I just need the subclass thing. I have the shard. I have to run public events. It doesn't even matter.
Do it without me.
Get there. Just get there so you can roll Taylor Swift. That's all I want to do.
I do miss the daily story missions. That was always a fun way to get some in-game rewards, but they're not doing that right now.
Right. Aaron DeWood writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD just like you can and says, why the fuck is everyone trying to squeeze PUBG into Game of the Year discussions? Is there some sort of accolade provided just by putting it in the conversation? PUBG doesn't deserve to be talked about when we have a plethora of quality games released this year. Zelda, Horizon, Persona, Hellblade, and probably Mario to name a few. When you break down PUBG, it's just a great game mode as a single entity. That's fucking it. There's no story, it's janky, graphics suck, and there's no content. The tech is great at 100 players, but also expected at this day and age. And the game is undoubtedly fun. But how does it contend with arguably some of the best games of the past few generations? Overwatch checked all the boxes last year and ran away with Game of the Year title from many esteemed critics, including IGN. PUBG really only checks the fun box. Why keep fighting for PUBG? Does it really stand a chance, or is it just for recognition's sake? Greg and the Kinda Funny crew, you're all amazing, and I'm really gonna miss the Irish Cream Danny O'Dwyer. Thanks for all you do, Aaron DeWood.
Aaron, you took the words right out of my mouth. When I heard Tim and Greg discussing this yesterday, I was like, no. There is no way PUBG wins Game of the Year in anybody's book. Will it win maybe best shooter or best action adventure? Potentially. Yeah. But there's no way it's beating Zelda. At the end of the day, I'm a Horizon Game of the Year person, but it will never beat Zelda for Game of the Year. Like, come at me if you actually think PUBG is going to beat Zelda for Game of the Year.
Okay.
Do you think PUBG will beat Zelda?
On some people, yeah. For some lists, for
no,
sure.
I'm talking about actual credentialed media outlets. The people who are actually voting for Game of the Year.
We are literally having a conversation, Colin and I, or somebody and I had, maybe it was Tim, I forget. We did something on this where I forget what game it was, where I argued it would win, and we gave 10 outlets, and like it ended up 4 or 5 of them gave it Game of the Year for whatever we were talking about.
No, I don't think a single outlet will give PUBG Game of the Year.
Okay. Well, before I shake your hand, we're going to come back to this on Thursday. We will build a list. We will sign this bet. We will put a steak dinner on the line, Jim Riley style.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm gonna put that in the flag. I mean, why do I think it's going to win? And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to cast my vote for PUBG. I think that if you were to ask me to put together a top 10 list of nominations, I would put it on there.
Top 10 is a completely different conversation.
Hey, I'm with you.
Just saying.
I'm with you. But it's going to be that Dota argument. Of people are like, well, yeah, there was all these games that were more polished and more story, and I played for this, and I have great memories of, but I've played this game 500 hours, and I've done
So
all
what?
this.
I played Destiny for 500 hours, and I never thought it should be a Game of the Year contender.
Sure. But you're balanced up here. A lot of other people, they ain't. These Dota kids, they ain't. That Mitch Dyer, Brian Albert, these people are fucking
Wait,
crazy.
Mitch Dyer didn't actually think Dota 2 should win Game of the Year.
I don't know what he thought anymore. You know what
Mitch
I mean?
Dyer, I know you're listening to this show. Write us in. Let me know.
And
Tweet to me.
What's he going to vote for this year for Game of the Year? Star Wars. All right, great.
He's biased.
How are we doing on time here? All right, we're doing all right. What do I want to talk to you about now, Andrea Renee? Oh, I doubled up on that one. That's interesting. Andrea, you get to pick.
Okay.
We can either talk. We're going to end on this Fortnite crossplay stuff.
Okay.
But we're either going to talk right now about remote play, or we're going to talk about Uncharted and expectations. Because both are callbacks to yesterday's show.
Yeah.
You listened. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, I feel like we've talked about both of those.
Do you want to just move on? We don't have to do them.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we've talked about Uncharted and expectations several times. I mean,
Not the new one. Uncharted, going back and playing old Uncharted. Remember this kid yesterday was
Yeah, I
like,
remember.
I played Uncharted 1 and it sucks.
Right.
I'm like, you suck. All right, fine. If they ain't tickling your fancy, we're moving on to Garrick. Garrick writes in and says, it was reported yesterday by IGN that Fortnite had a brief period of crossplay over the weekend where Xbox One and PlayStation 4 players were playing together. Yes. It was actually reported, it showed up on Reddit and then everybody picked it up. I saw it yesterday when I was compiling Kind of Funny Games Daily News, but at that point it was literally the Reddit, not Reddit, I apologize, NeoGAF arguing with each other of like, well, maybe they were signed into this, maybe they were that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, I don't want to get into this. I don't have anything for you. Epic Games responded, Garrett continues, saying that there was indeed crossplay due to an accidental configuration issue. Then Garrick says, Angry Greg voice. Why, how, and what? You're telling me that this game is designed for crossplay from the get-go? Why is it not always turned on? What's keeping Epic Games from allowing crossplay all the time? And why won't you, hey, let us change our PSN name? Well, Garrick, the reason Epic isn't allowed to do crossplay or isn't allowing you to use crossplay is because of the platform holders and the agreements they signed to go on there. This is not news. Rocket League talks about this all the time, right? That there's literally one box they need to tick and then everybody would be playing, but PlayStation doesn't want that. Minecraft, Xbox, mobile, PC, and now Switch, all playing together, or about to. I think it's in beta right now, but not on PlayStation 4 because PlayStation won't allow that. It's just PlayStation doesn't want that. They don't want you using other ecosystems. They don't want other users coming in there. On the back end, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff happening in terms of why this is, what the agreement is. Maybe they're talking, maybe they're not. Xbox is always walking up to you see, Phil Spencer walks into a men's room and there's a microphone there and he grabs, he's like, wait, we're open to crossplay, but it's up to PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, they're all about it. Like, hey, it's this clearly on them. So where that goes and where that conversation nets out, I don't know. But it has been known that that's a thing, and it was interesting that it actually got live for a little bit.
I have to hope that PlayStation is talking to Xbox about this issue. The problem with developers kind of jumping the gun on the platform holders making the call themselves is that clearly PlayStation has kind of dug in their heels on this for reasons that they are not outwardly disclosing.
Oh, the children,
right?
Remember? Jim Ryan said the children. Think of the children, Andrea.
We know that that's BS. So, like, I think we can, take guesses as to what these reasons are, but Sony has not publicly said what their real reasons are for this. As a fan of the idea of crossplay, being able to get all of the Guardians in my Destiny 2 clan to be able to crossplay together would be so incredible.
Yeah.
I want it to happen, but the realist in me knows that, like, if we as the community try to force them to do this, that they kind of, it's not going to like benefit us. I feel like PlayStation's in that, or like this position where they just need to take their own time coming to the solution that they want and not be pushed into it. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like people are just kind of dogpiling on you, but then you get stubborn about it and you're like, well, because you're dogpiling on me, I'm not going to do it?
100%.
I feel like that's where PlayStation's at right now. And I think that they are probably open to the idea of it, but because everyone's like
so aggressive about it.
Like, you're assholes, you won't let us do it. Why won't you just let us do it? And like, I think if we all just maybe look at this from a different lens, because screaming at them clearly isn't working, right? Maybe if we all just take a step back, say, okay, you take your time, You work it out.
We will tell you respectfully that we want this.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way you get
We'll
anything
say,
done.
hey, that's a cool feature. We'd really like that. Maybe using a different approach, using a different tactic might get the result that we want instead of us being like an angry mob and going after them.
On such
just food for thought.
On such a smaller scale, I mean, look at today with the time code thing. Where I've seen random people and things like, oh, why don't they have time codes? Easy Allies has time codes, blah, blah, blah. And they get thumbs up. And sometimes the people are really mean about it. It's whatever. You guys started a movement with the little flames about wanting time codes in the YouTube comments. And I'm like, you're not being dicks. And that's actually cool. That like suddenly all the comments were like, time codes, fireballs. I was like, all right, cool. Let's try it. We'll see how it's gone today. I don't know.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Danny, I don't think can read. So I'm worried about him trying to type stuff in there. You know what I mean? Andrea.
Yes.
It's time to squad up, but instead I'm going to ask you to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong because I need to get you out of here. I'll wrap the show without you.
Okay. Let's see.
Anyway, sorry. So if we screw something up while we record the show live, of course, you can go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screwed up. We'll set the record straight. Everybody out there has a good time and dances with somebody on the street they don't know.
Okay, here we go. Final Fantasy IX came out for PS4 last night globally. All right, covered that. That's not a thing. Okay, that's not a thing.
These kids are editorializing again? They're doing a lot of editorializing?
It's like grade tips. I'm like, that's not what you're wrong is for. We could talk about it later. Also, it's something I've already discovered. Thank you very much. I learned it the hard way.
You keep looking. The thing about You're Wrong is a fact we screwed up. If it's literally like yesterday, who else would you want to see guest host the show? So here's raid tips or something. Kindafunny.com/KFGD. Because I read every one of them, and then I'll filter them out if I need to.
Jason Schreier's book came out on September 5th.
Damn. It's on my bookshelf. I have it. Haven't read it yet, but damn,
The level cap is 305.
Okay.
It says, hi, Andrea, it's me, Lonelybeard TV. Hello. Thanks for hanging out with me in Twitch chat last night. And super good advice. That's not a you're wrong. That's it. So just the Jason Schreier thing and the level cap.
Perfect. Get out of here.
Okay.
Thanks for all your help, Andrea.
Goodbye. I'm not going to, let me get the last time code. So we're going to go into squad up right now.
We're squatting up right now. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD. You tell me your name, your username, the platform you're playing on, why you need help. I read it all here. Kids come and find you. They help you, and everybody has fun. Today, Torin writes in. He's on PlayStation 4, and he needs help. His PSN is Poompa Loompa. That's POOMPA_LOOMPA. Poompa Loompa. Hey everyone! My younger brother and I are struggling to do the Nightfall Strike to complete the Rat King exotic quest. This is Destiny 2 if you're not a complete loser like myself and don't understand this stuff. And I'm joking because I'm making fun of myself. I'm not saying we're losers with Destiny. Nick got in my head, goddammit. Anyways, back to Poompa Loompa. If any best friends could help us out, that would be awesome. I live on the West Coast and my brother is in Hawaii. And with school/work, it works best to play on the weekends. If any best friends want to help us out, that would be great. And maybe even join our clan, Loompa Land. The clan is Loompa Land. That's fucking awesome. I'm a big fan of that. He says, thanks again. So there you go. If you want to run the Rat King quest in Destiny 2 and help out Poompa_Loompa, hit him up on PSN, PlayStation 4. That squad up was brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with more than 17,000 classes in design, photo, and more. Categories can be altered depending on audience and channel. Oh, that's what that was me. Because they when you do these ad reads, right, they put in there like, here's where you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I was like, design, photo, and more actually work out well for all of you, right? Because I take photos for Instagram, of course. Design, you guys are designing stuff. And then we're about to talk about the French stuff. And then Tim talked about it before. I digress. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so you can keep learning, find inspiration, and take on new projects whenever you want. The first 500 people to use the promo link, and I'm going to read below, remember it's confusing from yesterday, will get their first 2 months free, and then it's as low as $10 a month after that to continue learning if you like. Or cancel if you don't. There's no risk. You can learn from anywhere. Download the mobile app on Android or iPhone and tap into classes even when you're offline. I brought up yesterday, and I still have to do it, 3-Minute French. they got on there so I can actually learn what the hell Jen's family's saying about me. And then, of course, Tim brought up for video production that they have a bunch of stuff in there. Like, you go in there, you can learn bite-sized tutorials, like 10-minute stuff about a very specific thing, rather than jumping into a giant hour-long video and not understanding what the hell's going on. Joey Noel's coming in here. What's going on?
Andre said that I had to come in and be your handshake.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, John Drake, for looking out for the handshake. The first 500 people to sign up will receive a 2-month free trial. You need to go to Skillshare's website and put this in. Again, this is going to sound confusing. It's skl.sh/kindafunny to start your trial now. So skl.sh/kindafunny to start your trial now. If you're watching on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, the link's down below in the description. That makes it pretty easy to click on and go do the thing. No rotating segment today. Tomorrow's host, Danny O'Dwyer. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every day, we run you through the video game news you need to know about before giving you perspective, answering your questions, and hanging out with you because we're all best friends. If you like that, it'd be awesome to go over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Kick us a couple bucks. You can do it just once. You don't have to do it forever. It doesn't be a thing. Just do a one-time donation. It'd be rad. So many people love the show. If you don't got the money, no big deal, of course. You can watch it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames as we record it. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You can listen on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you watch it, listen to it, support it. Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. For now, Joey Noel, come here. This is Joey Noel, of course, community manager extraordinaire. It's been my pleasure, our pleasure to serve you. Joey's, Andrea's, and mine. Pleasure to serve you. Nailed it. Thank you, John Drake.